Hello and welcome to Moneyline, only on 97.9 Unity Radio, the best sports talk show in all of Central Massachusetts, including Worcester, Boston, Lee, Framingham, Hartford, Bangor, you name it, it's us. We are the best in the business. And with me, as always, he perpetuates just joy all around. Frank Cristiano, the voice of reason himself.
Bangor.
Yeah, well, I had to throw something.
I forgot that was in New England.
Yeah, I had to throw something in there.
I like it.
Bangor, Maine, and I know that you've been up to Maine several times.
Yes.
During your Colby days,
Coaching career.
Yeah, so I mean that's why we resonate all the way up there. And that's why it's important to educate our
to mention viewers. It's important to keep them in the framework.
Yeah, so they know how popular we are.
Right.
I mean, I can't help that we're great.
You can't help it, huh?
You can't teach greatness.
No, you just can't. You're born with it, right?
No, we are.
Of course.
There was some sort of event that happened yesterday.
Yeah.
That I believe you may or may not recall or know about.
Yeah, I heard it in the media.
It was the Super Bowl.
Yes.
It was the Super Bowl that happened.
Yes.
And
it happened.
It happened. It came and it saw, and I don't know what happened after that, but it was quite disparaging for the AKA the dynasty that was supposed to be for the Kansas City Chiefs. It was one of the most debilitating, embarrassing games that I've seen. I mean, the Super Bowls have been good for a while. It reminded me of the 90s when, we would see a number of these Super Bowl teams get blown out year in and year out.
Right.
And this time we did not.
Well, we did.
Well, I mean, this time we did. I'm sorry.
Right. This time it was fairly one-sided all the way until Kansas City put some points on the
third at the end.
I tell you, if you go back to the Moneyline episode last week, I know we did predictions at the end.
Yes.
I did. I was picking the Eagles all along, not because I'm an Eagles fan, I'm a Redskin fan, but I thought the dominance of both lines would be the difference maker. I thought it would be a closer game. I thought maybe a 3-point game. I didn't expect the dominance to overtake. That's exactly what happened in that game. The dominance of the Eagles' O and D lines, especially the D line. I mean, 6 sacks, was it?
You and Dave,
yeah.
I believe, both predicted the Eagles. I
think he wanted Kansas City because he liked Andy Reid. But yeah, I think he did pick the Eagles.
Yeah, I couldn't do that. I mean, I just felt that you don't bet against Andy Reid. I mean, he was on fire.
Well, the big thing you got to bet against is there really hasn't been any 3-peat champions in the NFL.
No, it would have been the first.
So it would have very difficult, it would have been the first, especially with the dominance that Tom Brady had over the last 15 years. You think if anybody would have had a chance to 3-peat, it'd be the Patriots.
Right.
And bottom line, it just has not happened. It's such a difficult. It has happened in other sports, basketball, hockey. Geez, you look at football.
Well, football, it's tough to do.
It's really tough to do.
You run the gauntlet. There's only 16 games.
Yeah, and I think Philly's line gelled and played really well the last, I would say, 6 games of the season.
Well, the pass rush they generated, like you said,
that's just it. And realistically, it's not just a pass rush too. It's just that they were such a physical presence versus the Kansas City front 5. That bottom line, I mean, they couldn't run the ball either.
Well, I see. That's my issue. I don't think they tried to run the ball. They even tried to run the ball.
I don't think they would have had much success. You got to realize something. If you can't block the front 4 with your 5, you got 1 or 2 linebackers.
How many rushing attempts do you think Kareem Hunt had in the Super Bowl?
Oh, I don't know if it was 2.
3. He had 3.
He had 3. Yeah, he didn't have many.
He had 3.
He didn't have many.
So they had 11 rushes overall.
Right.
and 4 of them were scrambles by Patrick Mahomes.
Right. So 7 carries by the runners.
Yeah, I mean, they had 11 carries for 49 yards, which is actually pretty good.
It is, but when you're struggling to get first downs, it's hard to give the guy the ball.
When you saw the halftime numbers,
the
halftime statistics, the total yards, they punted over and over again.
Yeah, but let me point this out right away, and let me tell you, here's the mistake that Kansas City made.
12 first downs all game.
Yeah, no, here's the mistake, and I'm sure they have it in the package. But bottom line, if your line is getting
we're going to this again.
What's that?
You're going to talk about keeping the tight end in.
No.
The running back, max protecting.
No. I don't think they could have protected with 6.
Oh, okay.
I'm saying you got to have 3-step game. You got to have screen game.
They tried some screens.
You got to have draws. They did try a couple screens. You got to have draws. You have to have something to either slow up the rush,
yes,
or something to beat the rush with quick throws
to combat.
I didn't see much 3-step game.
No, they didn't throw a lot of quick game.
They really didn't. Everything they were looking for was a little intermediate or longer, and to me that makes no sense when your line can't block the front 4. Philadelphia blitzes 0 times in the whole game.
Yeah,
that was the game plan. That was the game plan.
And it's funny because the total yardage, KC was 275, Philly was 345.
Right.
And all year, Kansas City, it was a Cinderella story. They were living on the edge.
Right.
11 out of 17 games were one-score games. They always found a way to win, but they didn't look great in their victories. And
but look at it though. When Mahomes succeeded in those tight scoring games for victories, bottom line, teams were sending the house against him.
Yes,
they were loading up and throwing everything, and they're leaving in man coverage. And that's what in that kind of scramble situation, pre-snap, I think that's where Patrick he thrives. That's his ace. His ace in the hole. So what did Philly do? They rushed 4. They gave no 0 blitz looks.
Nope.
They didn't have to man up at all if they didn't want to.
3 turnovers.
3 turnovers. They're sitting back a little bit of zone, confusing them. Everybody's covered in one way or another until one of those 4 rushers gets his way. Really, you can't say, wow, what a great game plan. You don't even have to do much. Just like, listen, guys, pin your ears back. Get to the quarterback. Manhandle the lineman up front and on your way towards the quarterback. And the rest of it will take care of itself.
We had Shane Stafford on last night, the quarterback of UConn.
Yep.
We had Tyler on last night.
Nice.
And they both remarked that Philly kept such great rush lanes.
Right.
They kept good, tight rush lanes. And that was the difference maker for containing Mahomes as far as creating the cage around him so he couldn't escape.
Right.
He couldn't escape outside. He couldn't escape inside.
Right.
He tried to step up, and then he would get sacked.
But the way to do that, you have to be physically overpowering.
Yes, to get that
the
kind
offensive lineman to be able to get that push and that containment. That's where Philly's just impressive. They're impressive what their front 4 did the entire game.
And I think they deserve the MVP.
Mm-hmm.
Because even
agreed,
if you look at the numbers, it's still hilarious. Philly only had 210 yards passing.
Right.
They were 3 for 12.
And 1 bomb to Devonta Smith for about 45.
Yes.
Take that out of the equation, you got about 160 passing.
They had 3. They were 3 for 12 on third down conversions.
Yeah.
KC was 3 for 11. And KC obviously had more passing yards.
Yes.
But it doesn't matter.
Well, the turnovers, the 3 field goals, the short fields, what the defense left Philly's offense made it really.
The special teams made a difference.
Saquon Barkley.
Oh,
how many carries?
He was a difference.
Did he have 28 carries?
Saquon Barkley, actually, he didn't have if you looked at
the
it,
yardage,
if you look at it on paper, he didn't have a
Right.
great game,
Right.
but just his presence changed everything. He had 25 carries for 57 yards.
25 carries. So right there, and he had what, 3 receptions? Either 3 or 4 receptions. He
Yeah.
had that nice reception up the sideline.
Six catches for 40 yards.
6 catches for 40. So he's active all the way through. But you have to think about what the game plan for Philly defensively was.
Stop Saquon.
For Philly.
For Philly.
The defensive plan for Philly was pin the ears back. Let's get to Mahomes on a tight rush. Keep that pocket presence there. Make sure he doesn't escape, but let's get at him. Right? And then play defense up behind it. The game plan for KC was we have to stop Saquon Barkley.
Exactly.
And I think that's what hurt them.
So they loaded the box.
So in the situations where they needed that extra man in coverage or they needed that extra spy on Jalen Hurts, because bottom line, he took off about 4 times in the game for big chunks of yardage.
Crucial times.
Right, big chunks of yardage. So I think, that stopping Saquon Barkley emphasis really took away from the rest of what KC's defense needed to do. I think that was a big difference maker in the game as well.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. They were so focused on shutting down Saquon and forcing Jalen Hurts to beat them.
Yeah.
Which I think, from what you have seen from Jalen Hurts throughout the year, his passing was inconsistent.
Correct.
He wasn't on fire the whole year.
No, but as of late, he had been playing much better.
Yes.
I think the playoffs was a great run for him. He was, you know what he was? He was comfortable. So he wasn't trying to force anything. He wasn't trying to do anything out of the ordinary, which sometimes, in the beginning of his career, that's what he was doing left and right. He's trying to force things. He's trying to create something on his own instead of letting everything come together. I think right now in this playoff run, everything just came together. I mean, the entire team was on a roll. Offense, defense, special teams. They just looked really good all the way through the Super Bowl.
But, if you look at his stats, for the season, he was 20th in passing yards. He threw 2,900 yards passing. He had 18 touchdown passes.
Yep.
That was also tied for 20th. And 5 interceptions, which was good.
Remember the commentary, too, pregame and some of the shows. After their loss early on in the season, the entire offensive line went into the coaching office and told Sirianni, we got to run the ball.
Yeah.
We got to run the ball. So you know what? He had confidence in those guys, took their advice, schemed it up, came up with a greater run package that they could use for Saquon Barkley, and then look what happens. And, of course, Hurts's numbers are going to suffer because Saquon dropped 2,000 in the season.
Yeah.
So it's a win-win for Philly. It's a lose-lose for the Giants. I'm going to emphasize that.
I have to agree with you, and I'm thrilled because the Giants deserve it.
Yeah, and Saquon deserves a championship. So he could get it with New York. So you know what? He pulled it with Philly.
And I still go back to, we talked about Hard Knocks with the phone call to Joe Shane. And he said, hey, Saquon, we're going to let you test the free agent market. Yeah. If you get anything, just get back to us. Yeah. Let us know. And Saquon was just
called him from Philly. Cool. I'm in Philly now.
Cool as a cucumber. Yeah, cool. No problem. Bye.
Yeah, you can't. So bottom line, it's a good thing for the city of Philadelphia. I know they're rabid Eagle fans. I was in the airport in Philly coming back from the Dominican Republic a couple months ago.
There's no fans like Eagles fans.
I was in the airport. It was a Monday. No, excuse me. It was a Sunday, and it was Sunday Night Football, and the Eagles were playing the Redskins at Philly. So when my plane took off from Philly to go to Syracuse, I got to actually see the field, and I could see the game actually going on at that time. It's pretty cool.
Oh my God, you flew right over.
Yeah. So, but pregame, we're in the airport waiting, and we're going past security guards, we're going past checkpoints, we're going past TSA. Everybody's talking about the game. Yeah. Everybody's talking about the Eagle game that night. They're all talking about it. It's really it's pretty cool. It's a pretty cool thing. They are lunatics.
They are.
Okay, because they
celebrated. So are Bills fans.
Wait a minute. They celebrated the streets of Philly last night, and at the end of the celebration, a couple dudes got shot to death.
I didn't hear that.
When they celebrate in Buffalo, all they do is jump off onto an 8 foot table. Yeah, exactly. Drink beer, So there's a little bit of difference. Philly fans are very different.
They are very different. Now, the other complaint, which I thought was somewhat hilarious, we had the luxury of Joe D'Ambrosio stopping by our show. Joe is the voice of the Yukon Huskies. He used to cover my football games, basketball. He did everything. Now he does hockey. I think he does baseball and whatnot. And he was completely and utterly disgusted with Tom Brady and Tom Brady's performance during the game. He said he was so awful. It's like a disgrace to broadcasting. He says if he calls Mahomes Patrick one more time, he's going to lose it.
They're friends. They know each other through the sport.
Right, but isn't it unprofessional?
It's not unprofessional.
It's not unprofessional?
No, it actually, you know what? It gives the fans more of a comfort. You feel like you're in a living room and everyone's talking about Friends. You're all hanging out. Right. And you're listening to the guy that wrote the book on something.
Right.
You're listening to the guy that was the inventor of the wheel. You're listening to the guy that is the greatest quarterback in the history of the NFL. And you know what? He's translating his career happenings, his career thoughts, his career interactions with players directly to the public that's watching the game. I mean, you got to take it with a grain of salt. And it's the guy's first year doing this.
Right, but Joe stated, Brady did not tell him anything he didn't already know. He didn't break down the game in any special way. Right. He didn't offer any expert analysis or insight like I do or you do. And he's with his limitations. At least this was the first week he was allowed to go to production meetings.
Right, because normally you can't do that when you're the owner of a team.
I still don't know how that's a conflict of interest, but you didn't think he was bad, or you were indifferent towards it?
I'll be honest with you. I don't listen to the color commentator much. I listen to the play-by-play guy. I kind of like the way they set things up. I like how they spot the ball. I like how they have a rhythm in their calls. The color commentator, to me, I don't really care.
You give or take.
He's going to give me some stuff, or he's not going to give me some stuff. He's going to tell me a coverage that I already know about because I coach high school and college.
Right.
He's going to tell me some interactions in the locker room that I may not know about because that's behind the scenes stuff, and I'm eager to hear that.
Yeah.
But if someone's got to set me up in the game and tell me what this guy may be doing or what that guy may be doing, me personally, I already know that. Maybe the average fan doesn't. I agree then. Maybe he needs to be a little more in-depth. But, dude, it's the guy's first year. And you know what? They gave him
Greg Olson's job.
They gave him the White Stallion job, right?
Yeah.
They gave him the keys to the Ferrari.
Yeah.
But you know why? They're paying him $100 million.
Yeah, well, 360 something,
right, over the life
10 years or whatever.
Right.
Yeah, it's crazy.
But they're paying him crazy money.
Yeah.
So they got to use him at the number one. You're not going to pay the guy $30-some million a year or whatever the contract is. You're going to put him on the afternoon game.
Well, I would think you would want to appease your fan base as opposed to how much you're paying him, and the fan base universally detests Tom Brady as a broadcaster.
But they haven't experienced enough of Tom Brady as a broadcaster.
Well, I wouldn't you agree? Tony Romo in his first year was much, much better than Tom Brady.
Tony Romo may be more comfortable with doing that right now. Maybe Tony Romo is. I would say Tony Romo, if you look at the social life and the average life of both him and Tom Brady, Tony Romo is much more comfortable in the public eye.
You don't think Tom Brady's comfortable?
I don't think he's comfortable in the public eye.
You're telling me Tom Brady's an introvert?
I'm not saying he's an introvert. I'm just saying he doesn't have the curbside appeal that Tony Romo does when Tony speaks to the public.
Okay.
I think Tom Brady can if he it's almost like he has to warm up. And the warm up may take a year or two. But he's going to be, listen, he can tell you anything about anything on the football field. He's been through it all. And at the highest level,
but he doesn't. That's the thing.
At this point, yes, but you got to give the guy. I'm giving the guy 3 years. At the third year, if I don't see any kind of interaction or anything that's going to boost the public's accessibility to football knowledge, then okay, then I'm like, all right.
Well, a lot of people think that it's because he can't dumb it down for football fans.
Could be.
Like he can speak in football terms to football
Well,
players,
then
to the layperson.
Give Rob Gronkowski the color commentary. Then, if you want to dumb it down, I mean,
Yeah. Well, I would take Gronk. I would take Gronk. Gronk is entertaining. No. Andy Reid.
Yeah.
He came out and he said he'll coach, at least one more season.
Sure.
Andy Reid. We had a debate last night with Shane Stafford and I. We're debating. He puts Andy Reid in the same conversation as Bill Belichick. And Andy Reid and Shane also said that Patrick Mahomes is a better quarterback than Tom Brady. What were your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I don't know if I would. I don't know if that's. There's got to be a 1 and a 1A category.
That's what I said. I said if Brady's 1, maybe Mahomes is 1A.
1A, yeah.
But I mean, had Mahomes won, he would have obviously won more Super Bowls before the age of 28 than Tom Brady did.
Right.
Brady had 3, and then he had a 10-year layoff, which most people forget.
Right.
Before he won his 4th.
I mean, Montana had 3 Super Bowl wins. Montana was
I believe he had 4.
Did he have 4 or did he have 3? Because didn't Steve Young get the 4th?
Steve Young got the one in 94. The 49ers, I believe, won in 81. I thought they won in 88, 89. The 3. I thought maybe he had 3 or 4.
They could have 4. I'm wrong. So I hold Montana in that high regard. I hold him as a 1A.
Yeah, I do too.
So I put him home as a 1A right now. Andy Reid, I put him as a 1A. I just don't know. I don't know how you
Montana won 4.
He did win 4.
Yeah,
correct. Good.
Yeah, Montana won.
So I don't know how. Andy Reid to me is just below Bill Belichick. Bill Belichick, whether you like him, everyone likes Andy Reid. He's
the walrus.
There's not a guy that says, "Man, I hate Andy Reid."
No, he's the walrus.
But there's definitely people out there like, I fucking hate Bill Belichick, right? I mean, that's what there's some people out there that can't stand him because of his
Belichick's
demeanor, his attitude.
Salty, he's surly.
Yeah, he
doesn't like you,
right? But the guy created the greatest 15-year dynasty in football I've ever seen,
allegedly. Well, there was Spygate and then Deflategate.
It's okay. He's all part of it. He created it, right? If you're the mastermind.
Well, you're the one who said when we brought up the Michigan sign stealing thing, it's like, why didn't I think of that first?
Right.
That's what everyone was saying.
Right.
I should have thought of that.
I should have said the guy on the sidelines with the same dress code as the opposing team.
Yeah.
How did I not think of that?
Yeah.
Why not?
But overall, I mean, Kansas City had only averaged 22 points a game all year.
Yeah.
They barely hit that. Were you expecting this type of blowout? Did you think it was going to be closer?
I think I said it was like going to be 28-24 or 27-24, something like that. I thought it was going to be a 3-point game.
I said that too.
Yeah, I was thinking the over may be in play. I didn't expect the over to be in play like this, but the over may be in play. I expected some scoring. I thought Hurts was actually going to throw for more yardage.
No, he was very efficient, but he did not throw
because I just thought
the ball downfield much.
The mismatch with them trying to I knew the game. Listen, I'll tell you, Kansas City's game plan: take away Barkley. You want to take away Barkley, that's fine, but you got to jam the lineup. That means you're in a lot of one-on-one, man-to-man coverage. A lot of press. I don't like that matchup against A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith.
Well, no, and he took advantage of it in the first drive of the game.
Correct.
That stupid touchy call.
Correct.
That offensive pass interference call or illegal hands. They would have scored the first drive of the game.
Right. So I didn't like that matchup. So I figured that's where Hurts is going to pack on some yardage. As soon as they start packing the line and take away Barkley's rushing, they got to give up something, and they're going to give up the passing and the matchups. I thought the receivers in that instance would overmatch the defensive backs of Kansas City. So, yes, I was right, but they didn't need to take advantage of it that much because things were falling in line. They scored a defensive touchdown. They get 3 field goals. They're always close range. It ended up being a different story.
Now, you chastised me last week because you said the dog was next to me and I didn't notice.
Yes.
I wanted to let you know the dog is next to me right now.
That's right. He was there last week, too. You just didn't notice.
He wasn't. So I'm just giving you the information in case he has to go outside.
He may have to soon. He'll let me know. He'll bark or do
something. Oh, he will let you know.
He gives me usually.
Okay, so it's not my fault.
And then that's when I got to take him out.
It's not my fault.
No,
okay.
It's not your fault.
Okay. So you do, like, the way I explained it to Shane was, if you're looking at pure athletic ability, arm strength, and evaluating a quarterback from the ground up, probably Mahomes is better than Brady.
Right.
But as far as playing the position and success and numbers, Brady is the best.
Yes.
But I was looking at Mahomes' stats, and this was Mahomes' worst season of his career.
Yes.
By far. I mean,
they just didn't have the offensive output this year.
Not even. He only had he had 3,900 yards passing, 26 touchdowns, 11 interceptions. And if you compare that to his career history, it's just an anomaly, because this guy he threw over 5,000 yards twice. Otherwise he threw over 4,000 yards, and he threw 40 touchdowns, 50 touchdowns, 37, 38. It's just incredible to see the evolution of him. And his first year starting, he threw 50 touchdowns and 5,000 yards passing,
right, to
12 interceptions. Even last season, he was a little bit. Last year they struggled. I remember they were lucky to win the AFC West, and he threw 27 touchdowns to 14 interceptions. It was the year before, 41 touchdowns to 12 interceptions.
Well, I mean, you got to look at it this way for Kansas City. They lost their top receiver in week 4. Gone the whole year with injury.
Yes.
They lost.
They had Pacheco.
Isaiah Pacheco was gone for about 8 or 9 weeks. So you lose 2 big offensive weapons. Who do they have stepping into these positions? Granted, they got Hopkins late on in the trade.
Well, Kareem Hunt, I thought, did a nice job.
Kareem Hunt did a nice job filling in, but that was a few weeks to get him after the Pacheco injury, and then he needed 2 weeks to fit in.
Right before he was
Travis Kelce. Kelce had a couple of nice games, but he was underwhelming this year.
Yeah, he definitely seemed somewhat checked out.
Right.
He played much better during the playoffs.
Yeah.
And I think that's what they had initially tried to do. They were trying to lighten his load, so to speak.
Well, his load must have been anorexic yesterday, because he did absolutely nothing.
Well, he had
4 balls, all late, all useless numbers. But what I'm trying to piece together is this kind of like the timeline of Kansas City's offense. Kansas City's offense was never able to get on track because of the injuries.
No,
because of the replacements, because of those factors that really turn off your timing, your chemistry. I mean, I think the first 3 games they were on pretty good. Granted, they didn't score a ton, but they looked good chemistry wise. And then it just started going down. Then it was just Mahomes making plays on his own.
Yeah,
scrambling.
Yes.
Doing the behind the head toss.
Yeah.
To a receiver. Yeah. So you're gonna, those things are great gimmick tricks. They're nice parlor tricks by magicians. But after a while, they run themselves dry, and that's what happened. I mean, I think what happened, run themselves dry.
And he still, he had more receptions than last year. He had 97 catches for 823 yards, which was actually his career low for yardage.
Right.
The year before, he had 93 catches for 984 yards.
Well, as you have nothing to threaten, now they do have Xavier Worthy. So Xavier Worthy, definite deep threat, but not comfortable with Mahomes, I think, enough to where late in the season it looked a little better. But that first 3 quarters of the season, it didn't look like he was an efficient home run hitter.
No.
For Mahomes, for him to check deep. So now, as a defense, you're like, listen, the guy's fast, cushion him, but don't go crazy. And now it allows guys to play up more. So what happens to numbers? Kelsey's numbers are going to decline. The back's numbers catching and running are going to decline because the defense can run up on things quicker. They can cover those intermediate routes quicker.
Right.
I think that's where Kansas City struggled offensively a little bit. Obviously their line is their line. The line was decent all year. It wasn't overwhelming positive, but it was decent all year. But it's not the greatest line they've had. So you're looking at a possibility of those factors all coming together to be able to have what we saw in the Super Bowl was just an overwhelming dominant performance by one team by finding out the 2 or 3 weaknesses.
Well, you have some disagreeers with you.
Yeah.
Someone is saying Kansas is the best.
Okay.
It's Bone Sane. Bone Sane says Kansas is the best. Kansas is the best.
Okay.
So he
obviously they're good, but they are number 2 this year.
They're number 2.
Usually, when you're the best, you are number 1.
Yeah, they're not number 1.
Right.
They're not number 1.
No.
So, what would you say, Kansas City? Where do they have to go from here? Where do they need help?
Well,
where do they? What do they need to do to get back? Now, obviously, DeAndre Hopkins. They got to figure out where they're going with him.
Right.
I don't know. He's a free agent.
I think they
all three receivers are free agents.
Yeah, I think they re-sign him maybe till just a 1-year deal. And I think Hopkins would take it right now because he's in the latter part of his career.
You think they franchise him or they sign him to a
1-year deal? I don't see much more than that, but I see him staying because of the possibility of going far again. Where's he going to go to try to win a championship somewhere else? Who's taking it?
Yeah, that's the best opportunity.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think he stays. I think Kelsey comes back. I think.
I don't think there's a question, Kelsey.
I don't know. He's 35.
Yeah, but
I'm not saying that. But there's a lot of questions about whether he's going to come back at the end of this year or not.
He's still playing at a high level,
right?
And
so
he's indicated he's going to come back.
And then the intrigue again of winning another championship is right there, and the pieces are there. I think they do need. Boy, Cooper Kupp is on the free agent market, and I know there's 5 teams that have already had a lot of interest in being to make a trade.
Right.
Not free agent market, but
they want to trade him, man.
But I think Kansas City would be in that mix as well. I mean, I think Kupp would be a tremendous addition. It would give them a solid number 1 right off the bat.
Well, I think Hopkins would still be the number 1.
I don't think Hopkins would be number 1.
You think Cooper Kupp would be the number 1?
I think he'd be the number 1. I think Hopkins is really in a decline in his career.
You weren't impressed with his play.
Not even in the last season or 2. It's been tough. He's been traded. He's been moving around a little bit. He's not comfortable, and he's getting up in age. So I don't know. I saw that drop he had in the Super Bowl. Everybody has drops and stuff, but he's stumbling as he's running routes. It's just something's not there. So I would consider him number 2. If they got Kupp, would be at number 1. They will have
Worthy's back. He's the only one.
Xavier, no. There's their number 1 receiver who was on my fantasy team. I can't remember his name. He was injured in week 4. Blew his leg out, gone for the season. The name will come to me. God, I feel terrible that I can't remember it. But he will be back.
Right.
So you had somebody like Kupp in there, but really, if you're looking at it from a Super Bowl perspective, that one game sort of tells you a lot. They need offensive linemen.
Yeah, that's what Joe D'Ambrosio said.
Yeah, you need an offensive lineman.
He said, when did the Chiefs trade for the Giants' offensive line? That was his comment.
That is no. You know what? That is no lie.
He was hilarious. He came on. He complained about Tom Brady's broadcasting. He says if he calls Mahomes Patrick one more time, I'm going to lose it. And when did the Chiefs trade for the Giants' offensive line?
Come on, stop.
He did. He said it was great.
That is great. So bad. That is so bad.
And we had close to 3,000. 4,000 viewers last night overall.
You had that many, huh? Good for you.
Yeah, we did.
Good for you. I was dead in the water.
Well, you have to stop working.
I worked a 12-hour shift, and my body can't do 12 hours anymore.
So that's why I keep saying you're the boss.
Yeah, I'm the boss.
Delegate.
Unfortunately, the boss needed it was our largest volume day in the history of my store.
You had that many pre-orders?
Yes.
Oh wow!
It wasn't pre-orders, but just call-ins as well. We don't. Yeah, we take it all. We don't turn anybody away. But the problem is my system, my POS system, dumped about 61 orders. I couldn't find them, and so no tickets are being. No tickets are being printed out to the kitchen, so no orders are being
So
made
that's
for
why
that
the
food.
line was out the window.
Line was out the door. I felt
Okay.
so bad. What I should have done is I should have told the bartenders to walk around and start giving people drinks. That probably would have been the best thing to do.
So you're saying people called and ordered,
Oh yeah, you can call an order,
and it overwhelmed the system.
No, it didn't overwhelm the system. There's a glitch. Something
There was a
happened.
glitch. Okay.
Something happened, and all of a sudden, I would say at least 1/5 of the orders that we had were just gone. Like this, they called
Like they didn't exist.
They didn't exist. As soon as we entered them, they just went into like the cloud.
And
They didn't print anywhere, so we have nothing to go by. We have nothing to.
So you had
make.
you had to make it as they got there.
Oh yeah.
Did they get a discount?
Oh, some I did. I definitely
You did really?
Oh yeah. The guys that were waiting too long. People wait too long. One guy wasn't happy with his order. I don't listen.
One guy wasn't happy with his order, and he told you about it.
Yeah. They messaged me on Facebook. They get Google reviews. I get a 1-star review because I waited 40 minutes for my 2 pizzas in line. It's okay.
You look at the Google reviews?
Well, it comes up on my emails.
Oh,
it comes up
okay.
because I got Gmail.
Okay.
So I respond to everyone. I say, listen, I apologize. I'll credit you your order. No problem. Just get in touch with me so I have an address and I'll send you. The thing is that I'm not in the business of ruining anybody's meal. I hate that.
You don't like ruining.
Number two,
the
the Super Bowl is the perennial. Let me get my food and get home because the game's going to start, and it's 6:20, and like people are waiting in line still to get their food.
Right.
So
no, I saw
it was disheartening, but like I said,
I was shocked.
It was the largest volume of food day that I've ever had, and any day.
Yeah,
but it was a Super Bowl day, so it was overwhelming. It was a ton of good stuff for us, but also I had some mess ups, and I'll make good.
We drove by one Jenny too,
yeah,
and we were shocked that one Jenny wasn't that packed.
Oh, they weren't that packed. Well, probably because there was mine was. Rashid Rice is the receiver.
Rice. Yeah,
right. That's who. So now you got Rice coming back.
He's more of a slot guy, though, isn't he?
Listen, he was his number one so far going into this year. He was their number one receiver going into until he got hurt. So you have him. You could pick up a cup. You could or you could pick up a couple. I would pick up a couple of linemen. I would re-sign Hopkins. The running backs, if they keep Kareem Hunt and you got Isaiah Pacheco, that's a good 1-2 in the backfield.
You think they would keep Kareem Hunt?
I would.
Yeah,
you need backup. You need 2 backs. I
agree.
To have a Saquon Barkley is very rare. A Derrick Henry is very rare. You need 2 guys in the backfield that can split the carries, split the body load, so they don't break apart by week 13 if they're the only runner in the backfield.
Right.
So and each guy may give you something a little bit different. I would assume Hunt's a little bit better receiver. Pacheco's a harder runner downfield, but it gives them a nice balance. And then after that, what do they need? Maybe an edge rusher would help them.
Well, they have Chris Jones, but yeah, they
Jones
do need
an interior guy. But
he's
he's fantastic. But I think a pure edge rusher may help Kansas City. So we're talking they need 2 pieces.
Jackson wanted to point out Cooper DeJean. And
Cooper
DeJean.
Let me tell you something.
Wow.
Unbelievable story.
What a great return. The interception return.
It was. Yeah, it was his birthday.
And it was his birthday. It was Saquon's birthday, too.
It was. So it was a happy night all the way around.
And Dave played the Cooper DeJean song.
The song, absolutely. Yeah.
I was shocked. I was like, who is this guy? He's CB1.
CB1. That's right. Not DB1. CB1.
I didn't know that he was that popular.
Yeah. No, he is. Well, you know what it is? He's the only Caucasian starting cornerback in the NFL. Blankenship is with him there in Philly, but Blankenship's more of a safety. But, DeJean, I'm telling you right now, he's a tremendous athlete. If you ever see his high school highlights.
No, I haven't seen that.
Basketball?
Yeah.
Oh, my God, he's got ups. You got to see him. It's incredible.
He's just a tremendous athlete.
A tremendous athlete. He came out of Iowa. He returned 3 touchdowns his senior year for Iowa. And so, he has that knack. He has that flair. He's got that confidence. He's a guy that, you're not really going to intimidate. He's not
a ball hawk.
He is,
He's a ball hawk.
And he fits right in with what they need.
Yeah.
If it allows you to go zero coverage because
he can run with
anybody, right? Or it allows him to play loose in a little bit of zone, pick a ball off, run it back for a score. So it's just it's a great story.
He made some great plays.
Yes, he made some great plays, and it's just he's beating the odds. He's beating the melatonin odds as far as the D-backs in the NFL. It's crazy.
The other thing I had wanted to ask you, it kind of slipped my mind. So the Sweat guy that plays for Philly is not your guy.
No, it's not Montez Sweat.
It's not, okay. Are they related?
I don't know. It's a great question.
Okay,
you'll have to ask Old Spice.
I kept thinking that was Montez Sweat, and I'm like, wow, I bet the Redskins regret giving him up.
Yeah, listen, they didn't regret anything a couple of years ago. They gave everybody up.
No, I know they did.
And Chase Young, that makes sense. But Montez Sweat should have been kept.
Yeah. Well, has Chase Young performed?
No. No.
Man, his rookie season, he just dominated.
Then he got hurt,
and then he never recovered from.
Listen, it's another what's his name? The Redskins quarterback from Baylor.
RG3.
RG3 got hurt, never recovered. No, there's always who was the kid quarterback slammed his head into the wall after he scored a touchdown. Not Humphreys.
That was the Redskins guy. That was Alex Farrat.
Gus Farrat. Concussion, never recovered.
That's not true. Yeah. He had more opportunities than anyone. Yeah, you're blaming him for doing that?
Sure, he is an idiot.
Okay. The other big news, which I thought you would appreciate, Donald Trump, the first sitting president to attend a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that?
I'm surprised that it's like that. I would think that more presidents would go. Number one.
Well, I don't think Biden could go.
He would have been somebody.
How would you get him there?
My buddy Jimmy Fallon from Fox News. He posted on his Twitter. He goes, Joe Biden called not Glenn Fry. Who's the other guy from the band? Let's say Glenn Fry. He goes, I think Fry's dead. Joe Biden called Glenn Fry to congratulate the Eagles on their victory in the Super Bowl. Oh God!
Who's Glenn Fry?
He's a band member of the group called the Eagles.
That
joke right over your head. I got it.
A little before my time.
Yeah. The Eagles? Come on.
I'm not an Eagles fan. No.
Okay.
Trump, a New Yorker who calls Florida his home.
Yep.
He got
the hell out of New York real fast.
Yeah.
They chased him out.
Yeah. Well, he said congratulations to the Chiefs, but he obviously was happy with the Eagles coming through.
Gotta be. You're there for the game. I mean, they're always going to ask you those questions, trying to pitch you up one against the other and see how you. Listen, he's there. Number one. First of all, the guy must not sleep. I've seen him more in 3 weeks.
He's a machine.
Yeah, I've seen him more in 3 weeks than I saw Joe Biden in 4 years.
He's a machine.
He must not sleep. He must just sleep on the airplane. Whenever the Air Force.
No, I think he's a cyborg. He just changes the battery in his arm and just goes. He doesn't need sleep.
So the guy doesn't sleep. So bottom line,
but you don't really sleep either.
I sleep when I'm done. The computer shuts off. I am done.
Right.
Then I need my sleep. Then I get up early and I go back to work.
Okay.
But he number one, the publicity from being there is huge for him.
Yeah, it was huge
for the Super Bowl too. And number two, you know what? It's a good PR thing. I mean, it's a great PR for what he has accomplished in the last 3 weeks. If you're a Republican or a conservative or a Christian or anything like that, or you're in the armed forces, you're military, police, whatever. It's an accomplishment. He's had so far for their side. He's had a great 3 week run.
What's funny is the Eagles won in I believe it was 2018.
Yeah,
with a completely different coach and a different quarterback.
Yeah, Peterson and Foles.
Carson Wentz. Your best.
How about Wentz was on the Chiefs sidelines last night?
Yeah,
he's the number two.
Well, it was funny for two reasons. Wentz was on the Chiefs sideline, and your favorite quarterback, Kenny Pickett, was with
the Eagles. So
the Eagles. Yeah.
Was this Wentz's first year with Kansas City?
No.
He was there last year, you think?
Yeah, he was there.
He was last year. Yeah. So he has a Super Bowl ring with Philly.
Yes.
And a Super Bowl ring with Kansas City.
Yes.
Wasn't a starter in either. But he had 2 Super Bowl rings.
Yes.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Well, I was trying to think. I think it was I think Jared Goff was the number one pick of that draft. I can't remember if it was Goff or Wentz, but it's funny that the number one pick within 7 years is now a backup. Is now a backup and not a reliable.
He had a good what did he have? 13 weeks, 12 weeks that he got hurt.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, and Nick Foles never had another game like this Super Bowl again.
He must have gone directly to coaching. Remember, he came off on the sidelines there, the fourth down. What are we doing? You want to go Philly? Peters was like
Philly special.
Well, yeah, right. He called it Philly.
Okay.
And he called Philly special in the huddle. Do you want to go Philly? And Peterson was there like,
yeah, why
not? I had nothing on my chart.
I got nothing for the 2-point play.
Hey, listen, it worked.
So the other thing I wanted to ask, because this has been making the big news, and I don't really understand it.
Yeah.
The Lakers attempted another trade.
Yes.
And they tried to trade for a center,
Mark Williams.
Right.
Yep.
And
Charlotte.
It got negated because he failed his physical.
Correct.
And it just sent the team in flux because now the guys they traded away have to come back, and it's like, hey, great to see you. We're happy to have you back. And the 7-footer is going back to Charlotte.
Correct.
This was the missing piece to replace Davis.
It would be the missing piece, but you got to look at it this way too. Williams has only played 40% of the games.
That's what they said.
In 3 years.
He's been very hurt. Yeah,
so
he had bad problems.
A bad history track. So now you're telling me he failed the physical. Well, how demanding can the physical be?
It wasn't because of his back, allegedly. Either
was knee.
No, they didn't say. They just said that they found different complications.
Yeah, that
emerged during the physical.
Right. So listen, if he with a back injury that shoots down the legs, it could be a leg. Well,
if he has but they said it was not the back. So if you're thinking like a herniated disc or whatever,
it's got to be something pretty bad because they would.
For them to
dump
him.
They traded Connect the first rounder, and I think they traded also. They gave him
they traded 2031 first round pick for him
and Dalton Connect.
Yeah,
who's a guard and who's good.
Cam Reddish,
right? Yeah. Cam Reddish is throwing. Cam Reddish has moments, but Dalton Connect is the kid they wanted. He
was a first round pick.
He's an up and comer. He had some preseason games and actually a few regular season games. He looks really good.
Yeah,
so I think there's got to be something really detrimental wrong with Williams that the Lakers would have to just refuse him for that medical. I mean, usually, let's say the guy's got a little bit of medical problem, and the owner's like, "Listen, Doc, slide him through. Let's get this thing signed."
Well, or it could have been the other way, where it's like, "Wow, this is not what we expected." And
see you.
Allegedly, a team source says we gave up a lot and we kind of dodged a bullet. So that's within the organization saying that about him.
I don't know if it's a lot. Williams is good.
Yeah.
Real good around the rim. He's a rim protector. 7'2". His footwork's getting better every day.
That's what they said. His upside.
There's only so many guys that you can find at that size.
You can't teach
that can do something.
Yeah,
most of these guys, if you're that size, you have a hard time moving around the basket.
Right. Right.
So for
they said that JJ Redick was really comfortable with him, and he was a missing piece for them. Now, without a true 5, they feel that it's going to be a struggle to get one because the trade deadline is passed.
Yeah. I don't see it happening the rest of the year. Well, who they might bring out of the retirement is Dwight Howard.
No.
So Dwight Howard will come out. I heard Dwight Howard is still in Taiwan.
He could be.
He was hanging out with some
He could be in North Korea for all we
He's hanging
know.
out with some trans females there in.
Oh, he likes the trans?
Oh, he likes more than trans. Yeah,
Oh, good for him.
He plays the field.
Good for
if you
him.
know what I mean.
Well, you got to experiment and be open.
He was on the down low, but now it's out. There's no down low. It's out. It's out there.
Well, I'm non-binary, so
yeah,
I mean,
sure.
it's the same thing.
Right.
But that's good for him. So you think they're going to try to drag him away from Taiwan?
Yeah, I think they'll bring him in and sign him. I don't know if it's positive, but I think that's a.
Did he play last season?
He played in Taiwan.
Okay, he played in Taiwan.
I'm pretty sure it was Taiwan or South Korea.
So he's not completely. He wasn't on the shelf for 2 years.
No. Is it Taiwan or South Korea? I don't think it's South Korea, but I think it's Taiwan.
And he played on the 2020 team that won the championship.
Right. But he played. Listen, he can still be effective.
No, I agree.
He's a freakish athlete.
I agree.
And he keeps himself in decent shape, and he doesn't produce offensively anymore, but he doesn't need to. They don't need offense. They need someone to protect the rim inside and to get rebounds. And so at this point, Howard probably looks pretty good.
No, I was just curious. Were you familiar with the UFC card, the 312 card?
No, I just saw little highlights of certain fights, but I didn't see the card. I didn't watch it because I had to get up early in the morning to go work. So.
There's the coach. You made it. You made it, Coach Schuman.
I made it.
Yes,
wow, we got a good crowd again.
I know we got a massive crowd because of me. Because I am the star maker. I am the rainmaker. That's what we do.
He's Native American.
Because we pivoted. We visited. We entertained so many people last night. You got new subscribers. We had a 12-year-old on the phone who called in. We got to send him a UConn shirt. And it was amazing. But now that we have you, we would just like to get your thoughts on the game. Frank obviously pointed out that the Chiefs' overall mission was to stop Saquon Barkley at the expense of leaving everyone else wide open. Jalen Hurts did not have a lot of yards passing. It was 215 or whatever. 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, Super Bowl MVP. But the defense, Tyler King and Shane both pointed out that they kept a good cage around Mahomes. So He couldn't escape outside. He couldn't escape inside. But Shane and I talked before the game in our pregame about the Eagles starting fast. If the Eagles were able to start fast and make the Chiefs one-dimensional, they would win the game. And they definitely did that. And if you look at your microphone came loose. If you definitely, you have an arm. You got an arm for your microphone.
Yeah,
I've always wanted to get an arm. I never knew how to hook it up.
I have it hooked up, but somehow I broke it.
You didn't break it. There's no way to break
it. I'm always pulling on this thing.
Oh, you were pulling it closer to you?
Yeah, it's something to it. Who knows?
That's all right. We'll give you a second. Just your thoughts on the game, because you were in and out, and you were eating something that I wanted you to tell Frank about, because Frank abandoned.
Oh, Frank, I made myself. I guess I'll just use it portably. Do I sound okay like this? Is this fine?
You sound fine. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I made everybody that was there, but only my son and me partaked in it, because everyone else is trying to watch their figure. So I made a spicy vodka parm, chicken parm sandwich.
Yes,
semolina bread.
It looked great.
I took a whole loaf of semolina bread. I cut it into four pieces, and cut the middle. Put a little butter on the one side of it.
I'm tearing up right now, Dave. You can see right now I'm tearing up with the joy of hearing this right now. I can't believe it.
I figured. Listen, I mean, it was great. Now, listen. Normally, I didn't have the time to go and make bread it myself or that kind of stuff. So I did get it all pre-done. But I came out. I got the fresh mozzarella. I cut it up, put it on top. I put see, my wife was like, So I did it where I have I took the bread, I took the sandwich, the chicken, and then I put the first layer of mozzarella on top, okay, which made it nice. And then I had the spicy vodka sauce.
Yeah.
Made that, heated it up, and then got that nice. Put that on top of it, okay. Cooked it a little bit in the pan, so it kind of melted
Oh,
all
you
together.
cooked it in the pan. Oh, I
Yep.
didn't know
Then I
that.
put it back on the sandwich with another slice of mozzarella on top of the vodka, the spicy vodka sauce.
Wow. It
And
already
then
melted.
yes, it was a doozy. My son's here. How good was that sandwich? I said it was unbelievable.
Can you add that to the menu? I think you need to add that.
Yeah, we can do that. See, what I would add to that, I would add some thinly sliced prosciutto on top of that too. So I'll take the vodka parm, I'll take the fresh mousse, cut it on the slice of it, toast it in the oven, and then I'll open it up and layer some.
But wouldn't it take it'd take you too long to make though?
No.
To be efficient.
No,
it doesn't take that long. It really didn't
it's
take
like
that long.
like making a chicken parm.
But your thoughts on the game and Joe D and his appearance was amazing. When
that was great.
He was just disgusted with Tom Brady.
Tom Brady as a whole.
He hated him.
I mean, look, Tom Brady is a little bland, I would say.
Well, Joe said he didn't tell him anything he didn't know. He said, I'm not hearing anything I don't know from this guy. Like, they're paying him all this money. He doesn't know anything.
He's a celebrity. He brings the people to the seats. That's it.
Okay.
So you got to do it. It's year one. You got to give him a little bit of time. The guy's been he's been in training camp for 16 years or 17 years.
And the game itself, the Eagles just dominating the first half. The Chiefs had like 23 total yards the first half.
Right.
What were your thoughts? I mean, they obviously tried to stop Barkley. They spread him out, but they got so many one-on-one matchups, and they just took advantage of them. It looked like Shane pointed it out.
Well, the one-on-one matchups, those shots down the field were a problem for them. They tried to. Spagnuolo likes to bring a lot of guys, and he lives and dies by the sword. I thought he tried to do some stuff where he dropped guys, and then Jalen Hurts just took off. One of the things I thought he didn't do. Maybe
they played a lot of man. It looked like to me.
Yeah, but then they did. Then they dropped 8, but it was yeah, he didn't do a lot of spying of Jalen Hurts.
No,
trying to just keep him in the box and then playing zone over the top of it and make them beat you. But their strategy was to attack, stop Saquon Barkley, which they did a good job of.
They did. He averaged 2.6 yards a carry. He had 57 yards rushing.
I think they could have been effective just with a four-man line.
I agree.
Once in a while, move them, stunt them, and all. You could, and at least drag the game out a little bit. But
the time of possession killed.
Yeah, by throwing all your chips in there and they had sometimes they had 8 guys up.
A great athlete's going to make you miss. Like Jalen Hurts is going to find. You might get him once, but he's going. Actually, didn't get him at all from what I saw. But you're not going to corral him enough. And they have the run game too. They
were very balanced. Yes,
I don't know. It was an interesting strategy. That's always has been his way though. Because when he was with the Giants, he beat Brady by going after Brady, right? But
no, he didn't blitz. He didn't blitz Brady. They had a 4-man rush.
Just the 4-down linemen. They just beat him with those guys.
Yeah, that's what surprised me. Because the way that they beat Brady both times was with a straight 4-man rush that was getting pressure, and then they were able to drop 8 and play coverage.
8.
Yeah,
Brady can't run.
Drop 7. Yeah.
How massive in size is the Eagles' offensive line? I mean, Mekhi Becton,
they're
former Jet,
they're road graders.
Mariota, right? Alexander and one of the guys. I mean, literally, they are just massive, massive. So I
How
mean,
about how the game has changed a little bit in the sense that, like, if you have a good back, if you can have a good back and a good run game as a threat, and you get matchups at receiver, you need to have a guy that's really like seeing the field and distributing the ball from that standpoint. It was really like they run like a college offense. I mean,
Yes,
it's
no, they did.
crazy.
They mixed up the
I
tempo,
feel like,
which I thought was good.
Saquon's favorite play is toss.
Well, they pitch, but they keep it tight.
Right? Keep it tight. Try to
No,
run
it's a
down.
great
And then
play. That's my
they
favorite. That
tried
was
to
my
get
favorite
outside.
play.
But still,
That's a high school play. It's
to me, it's slow developing for the NFL. I mean, my God, I'm looking for guys to fly by there, but
Well,
they block well.
they block hard for him. They get downfield and they block hard.
Vince Lombardi made his living off with Jim
The old
Taylor.
school sweep.
Yeah, that's right.
Dave, how come no one runs counter Trey anymore?
Philly ran some counter.
Like old school I counter Trey?
Old school GT counter Trey or GY counter.
You got to run. You got to run
They
counter.
run it out of like with the back to the side. He takes a hard step. They don't run it.
Yeah,
like,
same side counter. Same side counter.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. Yeah. No, I mean just pure like
Guard
you
tackle.
would jab the back jabs away from the movement.
Yep.
And the guard tackle come in, tackle cups up like the old Joe Jacoby pulling up into the hole for Riggins. You know what I mean?
I'll tell you this, I could see. I'm sorry.
I was just gonna say it's a lot easier to pull the Y, the tight end, than the tackle.
Well,
Guard Y, and the separation is better.
I could see. Yeah, it's kind of the same, but I could see the NFL until they get guys that then can do both. I could see teams trying to run the ball like old school style and just come at you.
Yeah, I mean, they can't stop it.
They're in gun more, but still just come at you and be physical at the point of attack, because there are not linebackers anymore.
No,
able to handle it in the box. They cannot.
Right.
They run around everything.
Right.
No, all the linebackers are small.
And what are defenses doing now when they are drafting or they are trading? We need a rusher. We need a rusher. We need a rusher. We need a rusher. Okay, put 4 rushers in. I'm going to throw my 330-pound guys right at you, and let's see what you do.
Yeah, no, I agree. The league is not made if we had gone backwards in time for a fullback, tailback, 21 personnel offense that's running power, ISO, counter Trey, because they don't have the personnel for it.
I like the big quarterback, like even though Jalen Hurts isn't that tall per se, but he's big.
No,
the
he's
big
strong.
Quarterback like Jalen Hurts or the guy from the Bills,
Josh Allen. Yep.
Josh Allen, and the ability to be physical in the run game, and then that quarterback when he takes off to be physical, and run the ball where needed. Because of the threat of the slide, you can't just tee off on him. So it gets an advantage for that big quarterback that's athletic. That not the shifty. I mean, look, Lamar Jackson's like in a different category as a person.
Well, he's a different athlete.
He's a different athlete.
He's a running back playing quarterback.
But I'm saying I think you could find the guy like a Jalen Hurts, like a Josh Allen. I think you could find those guys in today's game and breed those guys coming up. Listen, Patrick Mahomes is a hard guy to find.
Very hard.
Who could throw it, who could scramble the way he does, who can make those throws on a run. Those guys are, I think they're a lot harder to find than a Jalen Hurts or a Josh Allen, to be honest. That's my honest opinion.
So Dave, you're on a draft board. You're in the war room, and that's your thinking right now, right, as far as offensive position. Jalen Milroe of Alabama.
That's what I was just going to say. Jalen Milroe.
I don't know if he's a good enough passer yet, but could he be?
But
maybe.
Hurts wasn't a good enough passer. Remember in the beginning?
No,
Like,
you're right. He wasn't. You're right.
so
Hurts was
maybe that
not
can
a
be
good
developed.
passer.
Yeah, maybe
He
that
had a
could be
great
developed
arm,
too.
but he was not an accurate passer. Like
Right.
that bad pass he threw earlier in the game would happen to him once a game in the past. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, this was a Super Bowl, but what happened to him once a game when he was younger. Now,
Well, Dave,
that's rare.
his numbers were not spectacular this year.
They don't have to be when you're
He threw
that.
no, I know,
When you got Barkley,
when you got
when you got
Barkley.
2,000 yard
Run
rusher.
like he does, escape for a first down, 25 yard, 20 yards. You have a back that can run the ball, like the Bills have one too, right? Who could run the ball. You have a receiver who could stretch the field, and you have another one that's a big receiver.
Devontae Hopkins, AJ Brown, yep.
You could,
But I mean, he only threw 18 touchdown passes all year long. I just think he threw for 2,700 yards, 18 touchdowns. Both were tied for 20th in the league.
Who else in the league can do that? I mean, look, Mahomes, Kansas City will be good as long as Mahomes is there because he's an anomaly. I mean, honestly.
Well, I will give you this because Shane and I were arguing about it, and I was telling Frank, and I wanted to get your opinion. Shane wholeheartedly thinks Mahomes is a better quarterback than Tom Brady. And I had to laugh at that. I said, maybe athletically and physically and the way he throws the ball, sure, you could call him the physical tools. He's a better quarterback. But as far as a winner and, with the numbers, Brady's the better quarterback.
He hasn't accomplished what Brady's accomplished yet.
No.
I think to me, Brady's the GOAT. He's number one.
Yes.
But what I would say is this: Mahomes potentially could be the best because he actually can throw from any angle. Nobody else can do that. He can amazingly with his chubby body scramble and get yards, and like he's got quick feet. His feet move really quick. He's able to get down the field. His eyes are down. Like Mahomes is a true point guard at quarterback. He's a true point guard. Like, can throw the ball to you at any angle. He makes things happen, and he's smart as hell. I think he's probably Brady's not the complete package at quarterback. He's just the best.
Brady was the best decision maker. Yes,
both guys
be the complete. He has a chance to be. I mean, I think he is the complete package. He is a complete package. Like,
I agree.
But both of those guys are similar in that they did one thing. They do one thing very well, is that they can be successful with less.
Yeah.
I mean, basically, they make their players around them, their complement, much more successful. They make them look much better than what they maybe actually are.
And that's what I argued with Shane about. Shane said that Mahomes has less in Kansas City than Brady had in New England.
I wouldn't say that.
And he said, New England had this great defense.
I mean, certain years New England picked up Randy Moss. Or something.
Yeah, they lose in the Super Bowl.
Right.
And Brady went 10 years between Super Bowl wins.
Yes.
Which was a very, very long stretch.
But I think the pieces there, we're talking about what does Kansas City need for next year? 2-3 pieces maybe. I'd say they're going to have Rashid Rice coming back.
Well,
they've got Worthy. They've got Hopkins.
Juju Smith, Hopkins. Hopkins is a free agent.
Yeah, but they'll sign him for. I mean, I would say like maybe a Cup would fit in great there. A Cup would fit in great with anybody. Let's put that right off the bat. But I think they need a lineman or two, and they need an edge rusher. I mean, I think those are the biggest demands that Kansas City needs to pull off.
Yeah.
You know what I liked about Jalen Hurts? I don't think Jalen Hurts is this like a top 5 quarterback per se.
No.
But you know what he doesn't do? He doesn't hold on the ball real long.
He makes good decisions.
He doesn't. Yeah, he only I only saw him a couple times do one of those super extending the play type of things.
Yeah, right.
But he's looking to get his decision quick, make a decision on the pass run, and
athletically he can get out of trouble. He can get out of trouble.
But I think like we talked about,
Cam Newton had the skill set to be like Josh Allen or Hurts, but
Lamar Jackson or Hurts, yeah.
Well, no, look, he's bigger. I mean, eventually he's going to slow down, but he has that. He's a gigantic guy. The thing that he doesn't do that I think Hurts does is I think he makes quick decisions. I think Hurts is not. It's not about him being the guy. Like he will make the play if you need him to make the play, but he's not trying to be the guy.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's the difference.
No, and I liked how I really think they don't do full field reads. I think he takes his read, he holds the ball for 2 seconds, and then he's out. If the throw's not there, he's not someone to hold on to the ball. He's getting the hell out of it.
As an old coordinator, I don't know how you can go into the week and scheme anyways. If you're going against a team that has a tremendous pass rush, how do you full field read anyways?
That's what I'm saying. Teams are getting away from it.
You're not going to have any time.
Teams are always getting away from it. You have your.
It looks like to me the old school run and shoot a lot of times. Like they make their read and then they get out of there and start rolling to the right or left to buy time. Like that's
what they said.
Read out of there and then trying to buy time and like the old school run and shoot. Like what Andre Ware ran. Andre Ware came around the wrong time. Andre Ware would have been great. Probably maybe David Klinger might have been better now because that's how the whole offense is run the same exact way. It's like I guess they were under center back then, but other than them being under center, like they would literally they drop, they have their 1-2 read, and then roll.
How about Jim Kelly ran that? Right? Was it with Mouse Davis?
Right.
Jim Kelly ran the run and shoot.
Well, they ran the K gun at Buffalo.
Yeah,
they ran the
that was the run and shoot.
Basically right.
That was the run and shoot they ran. Oh,
well, it was just a hurry up offense with run and shoot principle.
They had 11 personnel.
Because Jim Kelly ran it in the USFL with the Houston.
Okay.
With Mouse Davis, I think might have been maybe Mouse. It was. I think it was Mouse Davis, or. What's the other guy's name? The guy used to be at Houston, but it was one of those guys.
Oh, Jerry Glanville?
No, it wasn't Glanville. Glanville brought it in to Atlanta.
Yes, right.
But it was Mouse.
June Jones.
June Jones, but it was the other guy who was the head coach at Houston for a while. Houston, the college. I can't think of his name.
Yeah.
Pardee, maybe Jack Pardee, maybe.
Jack Pardee.
Oh, Jack Pardee. Yeah, he was with the Oilers. He was with the Oilers for a while. Yes.
He was with the Oilers. Yeah.
When they had Warren Moon.
They
had more receivers. Yes, they did. So I will say, Frank, last thoughts on the Super Bowl?
Everyone was looking for a fantastic game.
Good halftime show.
Listen. Okay, let me get this. Someone's going to steal this. I'm writing a letter to the NFL about the halftime show.
You're not writing.
I am. No, I am.
You're not writing Roger Goodell about that.
I am going to write Roger Goodell directly. Number one, I'm Dennis Kaiser.
I'm done with
my old head coach, Dennis Kaiser, was worked for the NFL for 15 years.
He was the guy that put the hat on.
He was in charge of all the outfits. So anything that you wore on the field, Dennis would be in charge of that. I'm going to ask someone to get some contact information. I want to know who does bookings for, the halftime shows, or who can you direct me to? I'm going to write a list. Here's what you got to do. They want inclusion, right? They want the NFL is all about that, the new era of welcoming everyone, right?
They went to safety after the wardrobe malfunction, and you were seeing Tom Petty.
Here's the problem. 1 year it's Aerosmith, next year it's Michael Jackson, next year it's Janet Jackson. Then you got the country actor, Beyonce. Then now Kendrick Lamar, right? Whatever it is. They're alienating a section of the country every year, because if it's a country artist, most urban people are going to say, garbage. I don't understand what he's talking about. He's drawing. If it's Kendrick Lamar, people are like, I understood what he was saying. I couldn't figure it out. White folk. Here's what they got to do. Just like Woodstock. So I was at Woodstock 99, Dave. I had a stand there. Okay. They took an air base in Rome, New York, and they put 2 stages on it. The stages were 2 miles away from each other. So you had to walk like 2 miles to get to the other show. And there was constant shows going on. So when Super Bowl halftime starts, you put up 2 stages.
Yeah.
One at each end of the
Oh,
arena.
so you please everyone.
Right. You want right. So now I can bring in Kendrick Lamar along with 38 Special. Something like that. Something stupid, right?
Oh, why can't they just bring? They used to bring different artists out. You would bring out
it would all collaborate.
They would collaborate,
but they're all kind of the same genre, though. It wouldn't be that dramatic. So bring out something for the whites and bring out something for minorities.
I don't
right?
think you could do that.
Yes, no, but hear me out. I'm not done yet. Wait.
You're going to split the stage.
And they do dueling songs. So it plays so they can each play at least 3 songs each, right? 2 or 3 songs.
Like the piano, like when you go to dueling pianos?
Yeah, but it's dueling groups. So like Aerosmith and whatever.
They play in the night play.
And Snoop Dogg. Aerosmith and Snoop Dogg. Just for shits and giggles. But what you do is this. You know how they always have people down on the field?
Yes, they let them come on the fan.
They dress them up. They're stage people. So they dress them up. So at Snoop Dogg's stand, at his stage, you got to have all white people. And then over at Aerosmith, you got to have all minorities.
That's what you want to do? You'll piss everyone off.
No, we're all inclusive.
Oh, now we're all inclusive.
We're sharing. We're all
sharing.
Tell me that's not the best idea ever.
I do not think that would work.
Come on.
That's a great idea.
I'm telling if you see it next year, the Super Bowl, where they have dueling stages, that's my idea. And I'm gonna
well, as long at least they didn't do what they and this is obviously more for Rebel Republic than this show, but at least they didn't do what the South African leader did of South Africa, was in the middle of a stadium, got on stage at some and yell, kill the Boers, which is the white farmer.
Yeah,
literally, that's what he said.
At least they didn't do that.
They're just trying to make it for a couple hundred years of improprieties there, Dave. I think they're just getting this is their payback. But for anyone, that halftime show, Kendrick Lamar, it is what it is.
If I was if I was an Afrikaans, which is the white people of South Africa, and apartheid was ended, which it should have been obviously lifted, and and everybody had normal rights. More than likely, I would think that the wise thing to do in this situation would have been to get the hell out of town, because the level of animosity is so high. It wasn't like there was a transition, like Whitey's not that bad,
Right.
Like it literally is. Whitey wasn't in charge. Now, no longer Whitey in charge, and we hate Whitey.
Now we can leave.
Yeah, so it's. But you know what it is? That's totally political. But the sad part of it is that the people who know how to do the farming in most cases, obviously because of historical context for the most part, is the white farmer. And what's happened when they've actually killed and murdered these sadly these white farmers, what's happened is there was infighting between people who took over the land, and nothing happened. No crops got made. So it's not like they're going and taking over the land and making crops. They don't know how to do the
they don't.
It's actually a skill set. It's actually a skill set.
It's more about payback. That's all it is right now. It's just payback.
Well, David, thank you for jumping on. And we have Rebel Republic coming up next. You're probably going to have to go to the bathroom.
I'm good, I think,
with your bladder. But as soon as you put the link up, we'll be ready to go. Okay. This has been Moneyline, the best sports show in all of New England, and you're still trying to fix that, and it's not going to work. I don't know what you broke your arm. You broke your arm. For the voice of reason, Frank Cristiano, and the coach, David Schuman, who broke his microphone.
It looks like Franklin Valley right now with a big-ass 1945 microphone.
The best podcast host in the universe. Remember, when life gives you lemons, don't make lemonade. Take 2 oranges, throw them right back in life.